Loading in terms of purpose, then, China's Xinjiang camps share much with Stalin's gulag and Hitler's concentration camps, as they reflect a drive to not only use repression as a means of control but also its desire to mobilize society behind an exclusive ideology, and to educate people into becoming committed believers, to claim them in soul as well as body. Yet the parallel also extends to the manner in which Beijing has sought to justify its drastic turn in Xinjiang. Beijing has embarked on a three-phase propaganda strategy here: secrecy and outright denial, justificatory counter-narratives, and tours of alleged camps for foreign observers that mirror strategies used by both Stalin and Hitler to deflect criticism of their regimes. Over the past year, as increasing media reports and academic research revealed the existence and scale of the camps, Beijing issued numerous blanket denials of their existence. A characteristic denial published in China Daily last August suggested that such reports were products of ignorance and misinformation spread by those bent on splitting the region from China and turning it into an independent country. Senior Chinese officials also categorically denied the existence of the camps before the United Nations Committee on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination on August 31, 2018. ID cards are checked, and facial recognition used when entering almost all public spaces in Urumqi, the capital city of Xinjiang. As such denials have become less and less tenable, they have been replaced by what amounts to a justificatory counter-narrative that the re-education centers are a necessary and benevolent measure to assist Uyghurs from succumbing to the scourge of extremism. The tactical shift was also accompanied by a China Central Television story detailing interviews with cadets in the Khotan Vocational Skills Education and Training Center in southern Xinjiang. The center is portrayed in the story as an altruistic endeavor to provide education, with footage of cadets undertaking Mandarin language training and vocational skills training in carpet weaving, sewing, baking and carpentry. Once more, the parallels with the Soviet and Nazi precedents are striking. As Stalin's collectivization program rapidly expanded the Gulag camp population in the early 1930s, Moscow first denied foreign reports of this as filthy slander, before openly celebrating the Gulag as a transformative reforging of former class enemies into ideologically committed Soviet citizens. The Soviets also produced a 600-page book and propaganda film celebrating the Gulag constructed White Sea-Baltic Canal in 1933, after Hitler's ascent to the chancellorship in 1933. The Nazis established concentration camps for those defined by the regime as irreconcilable political opponents such as communists and social democrats. These camps were sold to the German people as reformatory establishments, rather like penitentiaries for offending adolescents in 1950s America, where social deviants would be disciplined and reformed. Loading in the midst of World War II, the Nazis also infamously produced the film, The Russienstadt, a documentary film from the Jewish settlement area, as a supposedly objective depiction of life in a Jewish concentration camp in occupied Czechoslovakia. The film included scenes of inmates undertaking training in various skills such as baking, sewing and carpentry, and enjoying leisure activities. It was carefully scripted and stage-managed and was intended for foreign audiences. Finally, Beijing too has mirrored Soviet precedents by providing what amount to Potemkin tours of re-education camps for foreign observers. Between January 3 and 5, Chinese officials chaperoned diplomats from Russia, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Pakistan, India, Afghanistan, Malaysia, Indonesia, Kuwait and Thailand, and reporters from Kazakhstan state-run agency, Kazinform, Sputnik News, Associated Press of Pakistan and Indonesia's national news agency and ARA to facilities in Urumqi, Kashgar, and Khotan. The foreign diplomats and journalists were told that centers were implemented to assist those affected by extremism, by provision of education in Mandarin, Chinese laws and vocational skills. The Soviet Union, as historian Jeffrey Hardy has documented, facilitated Gulag tourism, whereby it carefully managed visits for foreign delegations to penal institutions in an attempt to combat the Western narrative of the Gulag as a slave labor system, and to demonstrate its social reform benefits. Loading Beijing thus appears to be determined to go to great lengths to defend its re-education camps. In doing so, however, it has revealed clear parallels with the efforts of the most infamous totalitarian regimes of the 20th century to deflect criticism of their systems of mass repression and control. To date, however, this has not been successful, and this suggests a number of important differences between the strategies mounted by the Soviets and the Nazis in the mid-20th century and those now mounted by China. First, Beijing is undertaking this effort in a paradoxical environment in which innovations in surveillance and data collection technologies simultaneously enhance the state's capacity to monitor and control individuals and, thankfully, reveal it to the outside world. Second, unlike either the Soviet or Nazi precedents, Beijing's camps to date appear to be designed to facilitate the destruction of Uyghur culture rather than physical destruction of individuals. This, of course, is of little comfort to the Uyghur people, and it is to be hoped that the continued vigilance of external observers can ensure that China does not follow the worst precedents of the 20th century. Dr. Michael Clark is Associate Professor at the National Security College, Australian National University.